In this video, we will continue with the story of the shoemakers. Last week's video covers up how a regular shoemaker earned an ability to see particles of living beings from a footprint of a mystical creature. He was so desperate to try everything to find another clue about the mystery he revealed. His obsession to find creature made him start his journey to find other people who have the same ability. In this video, we will discover what had happened to the original shoemaker during his journey, and how the ability that he taught his fellow created a whole new group that has never been seen before. So let's go with the details of the story of the shoemakers. After the shoemaker left his home, his main motive came from his obsession to find the owner of the footprint that he found in the forest. He needed to find and convince other people with the same ability to help him find this being. He was anxious about what other people were going to say when he directly approached to those people and said, "Can you put those glasses and help me find this creature that might have non-existed?" There should be something else to impress people. That's why he thought it was better to carry some part of the soil mixed with particles of the mystical being. Rest was easy. All he needed to convince people to look through the lens his friend created. He traveled around valleys and hills. Sometimes he used his glasses for fun to see all those animals' colorful particles floating around, and sometimes to see which ways people used to travel when he lost. He was constantly thinking, what if everything could backfire and people might think he was a crazy person? This could be the end of him. However, a couple of days later, he finally reached the next town to find his first fellow. When he entered the tavern, everybody looked at this stranger because they rarely have visitors this time of the year. He was hoping to find at least one person who has an ability. In the corner, there was one woman who was drinking alone. At first, he sat not to scare her. He got so excited about how it is going to be meet another person who has this ability. Minutes later, he approached with the drink he ordered and showed her his pouch filled with magical soil. And before he asked if she saw it or not, she was startled back by the things she saw. Bluish purple glitters floating around from the pouch of his man's hand. He calmed her down so as not to attract any attention since he has so much pressure by the eyes of his back, and explained the whole thing. While she was hypnotized by the particles that floating around, the shoemaker told the whole story and his purpose and showed the drawings of the footprint. He was hesitant to show the lenses in the tavern because of the reaction she might give. He kindly asked her to leave the tavern. She agreed in a second and followed him like a duckling following her mother. When they reached the entrance of the town, he showed the lenses to her. She gasped when she saw all those colors floating in the sky. She mentioned an old lady lost one of her goats yesterday and was wondering if this lens works or not. The shoemaker was offended a bit. Why she is interested in an unimportant goat instead of his mysterious being. He agreed heartlessly in case of convincing her to join his guild. He warned her not to tell anything to the old lady, not to scare her. When they reached the old lady's house, she showed them the stick when she herded the goats. She was amazed one more time when she saw the particles floating around the staff, and a dim trail of goats appeared in the meadow behind the house. Those are the walking ways of the other goats, but one of them is going to the forest on the right. They followed the glowing trail, and somewhere deep into the forest, the shoemaker jumped by the scream of his new fellow. Unfortunately, she found the half of the body of the goat, probably eaten by a wolf. When they got back to the old lady, the shoemaker was about to give the bad news to her, but the woman jumped forward and said, "There is nothing to worry about and make sure the goat will come back to her after a while." At that moment, the shoemaker's grumpiness disappeared and his heart filled with warmth of his new friend's kindness. She agreed to join him under one condition, that in her spare time she helps people in need. And that's how the new chapter of the shoemaker's journey has started. They traveled town to town and found new people to join them. At some point the recipe of the lenses slipped through the shoemaker's hand, and people used the lenses only for their own benefits, as following people who hid their treasures or busting people whom they hold a grudge on. Over the years, the shoemaker took people he found his home to show the footprint. He got a decent amount of people around him to fulfill his duty on search. That's how the people who called themselves the shoemakers have scattered all over the lands and carried their leader's legacy after his disappearance. And that's it. By the way, the Tales of Lost reached 1,000 subscribers. I want to thank each and every one of you for your support and make this project happen. If you are a newcomer and haven't subscribed yet, you know what to do. Thank you so much for watching, and until the next one.